The loss of morals and obsession with money, fashion, and the glamorous lifestyle has caused us to lose sight of the dream. The dream was not for us to spend the day posting selfies with philosophical quotes from the latest rap song online, rushing to the store for the latest pair of Jordans, or the latest overrated, overly expensive iPhone. It was not for us to avoid reading books because we can just look it up on YouTube. We have become a self-absorbed, wasteful people, investing our money and time into things that offer us no return and no benefit. Our value is no longer determined by our morals, but by how closely we can emulate those who watch us or those we watch on reality TV. I wonder what our ancestors would say when we consider how much they fought, died, and suffered on our behalf. What would they think if they saw black sisters bashing each other and fist fighting on TV for the entertainment of the world and a few dollars? What would they feel if they heard the number of black men who are falsely sent to prison and death row each year, and the number of black boys who have killed at the hands of the law, and how we, as a people, barely speak up? Instead, we highlight our own flaws as a culture, blast it in the media, and allow them to use it as a reason to justify unjust behavior. How would our ancestors feel to know that young men and young women find it fashionable to be addressed as a female dog, and that sagging pants are a part of being well dressed? You see, my friends, today is not a dream. It is seeming much more close to a nightmare. Society has ruined us, young and old, convincing us that we must sell our souls and our ancestors' dreams to be a part of the American dream. We have become so spiritually and culturally disconnected that we have no idea what the dream of our ancestors was, nor do we understand what our personal dreams are. Because we have no sense of history, we have no sense of identity, and thus cannot understand the dream. In the early 1800s, abolitionist Frederick Douglass's dream was for all black folks to have the right to read, because he knew that knowledge is power. Harriet Tubman, leader of the Underground Railroad, dreamed that all black people would be free in the land of the free and the home of the brave. In May of 1954, the dream of a team of lawyers and citizens in Brown versus the Board of Education was for schools to be desegregated for equal educational opportunity. In 1955, Rosa Parks dreamed that a tired black woman would never again have to give up her seat for a white man. In 1965, blacks across America and in Selma, Alabama dreamed of voting rights for all mankind. In 1968, there was the dream that black people would be able to live in whatever neighborhood they wanted to in this country without discrimination or being terrorized. Oh, the number of dreams our people have had over the years. And now, here we are years later, with a record number of high school dropouts, hardly any black voters in public elections, and choosing to sit in the back of classrooms and buses so we can act a fool. For all the struggles our ancestors have had, we have destroyed their dream. Because we have forgotten the dreams of our ancestors, our youth and our generation give up way too soon. We look for the quick and easy route in life, giving up at the slightest indication of a struggle. This attitude has ruined the black church and the black family. We look for preachers to be perfect and leave a badge to church at the first indication of a problem, forgetting that God's house should always be a house of decency and order, and we're to love, respect, and honor each other. No longer are the days when black mothers and fathers stay together during tough times, understanding that the race is not given to the swift, but to those who endure. Instead, we look for information on successful relationships from those who have failed marriages, no training in counseling, nor no knowledge of the Word of God. It's rare these days to find a Momo and Pop who have been married for 50 years and can tell you that they made it through the wisdom of Christ. How can we continue to expect our children to be leaders of tomorrow when we are failing them today? They are lost, broken, and confused because we have let Facebook teach them that they must fit in instead of letting the faith book teach them that they must stand out. Studying the book of Beyonce and learning in the schools of fools. There was a time when youth leadership started right there at church and continued in school. When I was a child, I served as Sunday school secretary, a member of the choir and Bible bowl team, and president of our youth usher board. As a result, I became just as active in school. My church then supported my speech competitions and field trips by donating money. And it gave me practice by inviting me all over the community to speak at only 16 years old. We keep expecting our children to lead, but adults, we must first rise up. Lack of knowledge is why it took the death of Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, and Tamir Rice to realize racism still exists in America. Yet they spent 1 month rioting and rioting, and now we hardly hear anything about any of these people. It's time to rise up. There must be a new revolution. We must call our young people to restore the dream. For when black boys are born, they are already marked and identified with a statistic that says they have X amount of chances of going to prison, X amount of chances of going to commit crimes, X amount of chances that they will contract AIDS, and X amount of chances that they will be killed before 18. We must start demanding statistics of a different kind be attached to our children. They must say there are X amount of chances that they will earn a degree from college, X amount of chances that they will become citizens of the community, X amount of chances they will own a home or a business, and X amount of chances that they will have successful and long marriages. To change the way that the world sees us, we must first change the way that we see ourselves. Young people, you must first become leaders of your generation who are dedicated to make positive changes. I hear the statement all of the time, Miss Mays, times have changed. It's hard in this world. And to that, I say, it was hard for Harriet Tubman to free over 300 slaves with no GPS or Google Maps. It was hard for Sojourner Truth to deliver a speech called Aren't I a Woman, where black people were only identified as 3/5 of a person and property. It was difficult for Dr. George Washington Carver to develop over 300 ways to use a sweet potato when black people were claimed to be dumber than average and barely able to speak a clear sentence. Still, despite these hardships, these people recognize the obligation to rise up and go after their dreams. Young people, trust me, I understand that we live in a different type of society, one that demands we follow the trend. But I challenge you to start a trending topic. Better yet, become the trending topic. Following your name on social media, it should now read #leader, #social trainer, #follower of Christ, #rising up, #restorer of the dream. The dreams of our predecessors are so much bigger than the materialistic things that crowd our vision today. If we, adults, don't begin training our youth to lead, we will continue to live in a society that fails to identify and stand against race issues and racism in America. I challenge you, young people, to be like those who came before us. Rise up, restore the dream. It is not an option. It is necessary for mankind. I would like to close with a piece that I wrote this year for Black History Month. Each year, I try to write a different piece that embodies what I feel and what I think as I reflect on the achievements of our people in America. This year, I chose something different. Recognizing all the struggles that we faced on last year and that our young people have finally had an epiphany, I decided to write a piece that embodied the necessity for us to stand up and support our young folks. The great Paula Lawrence Dunbar proclaimed that he knew why the caged bird sings. And the heartbreak one feels to see the blood upon a caged bird's wings. I wonder how he feel to see our struggling young birds of today. Our youth are caught up in the perils of society and they are struggling to find their way. We've kept our children in the darkness, but I'm here to bring the light. Let them shine like a full moon on a dark night. You did not descend from darkness. Yes, you are royalty. Your ancestors struggled too much, too long to let negative messages continue to be. You find joy in your sorrow, and you make your best things. You do the best you can in this life. But haven't our people always done this in a country who's never treated us quite right? You are not just thugging and banging, rump shaking, gangster rap and sagging pants. You possess a unique fashion mixed with elegant taste and move your body to the rhythm of the motherland. You are not the problem with America, but I know you offer America the solution. No longer can I let people insist that our black children are America's pollution. The misconstrued message is that blacks kill blacks all the time, and we allow them to use this to excuse racially motivated crimes. Justice is deserved by all mankind, so young leaders, do not give in on your demands. You have the right to be safe, respected, and protected. You come from the people who are the salt of this land. Let there be no confusion. I'm not here to discredit, disrespect, or even dismay. But I am here to share light on the dark stories that many people say. If we want our children to lead, we must become advocates of their life. We must water these young flowers and teach these eagles how to take flight. We can't keep talking down and expect them to be lifted up. If we claim that we have the knowledge, we must let them sip from our cup. There's a world out there, people. A great teacher once told me, and it's so much bigger than the limits of Monroe. There are so many things you must see.
Come on now.
So don't let the injustices of America create a stifling fear in you. Yes, you hold the key to a better destiny, and you can do anything that you want to. Your past is not your present, and your present is not your future. Make the decision today to honor what our ancestors went through. Show them that their marches were justified so you could stand, that you valued your tears enough to be the best that you can. Show our grandmothers that the pain she birthed for generations was the preparation much needed for you to lead our great nation. Show our grandfather that the hard fields work was a sacrifice needed on your behalf, and that you shall do better because he laid the path. We must stop allowing the world to attach these negative names. Stop making our youth think that they bring us nothing but the worst of shame. That everything that this jacked up world is what fate should deserve, and it brings. We are the ones who aren't allowing these caged birds to sing. So I say to you, stand loud, stand proud, let your beautiful voice be heard. I am here to open your cage, spread your wings, my beautiful non-birds.